How goes the family? Welcome back to Letters Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys are having a great evening. Today's subject matter is near and dear to my heart. Once again, I came across another great article, and I'm honored to talk about a great young man who's from basically the DMV area, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Northern Virginia area. And basically the article about this great man, his name is Lionel Watson, which is known around the state of Maryland as the Crab Boss. Mr. Watson actually moved to the state of Maryland to escape bad influences from his past in Pensacola, Florida, which is awesome because usually you hear a lot of success stories stem from people moving from the northern states and midwestern states, moving down south into the southwest, and starting a new life and making their claim and doing great things. And there's nothing wrong with that either way you look at it. But I think this is a great story because, at times we need to get out of our comfort zone, get away from the people that we've been around our whole lives. And sometimes just moving away from your whole past with a brand new start is just the best way to do it. And he did a vice versa. He went from Florida to Maryland. And I think that's awesome. And his life actually turned out that much better. And he is a restaurant owner and a proud father. And he talks about his family in an open way since he is a convicted felon. He talks about that as well in an open way, full transparency. And it's one good thing about Mr. Watson, he doesn't allow that to limit to where he can take his life. And that's a beautiful thing. So many people that aren't convicted felons or have misdemeanors have so many freaking excuses to why they can't do something. And really, sometimes I always say, be an adult and say, if you don't want to do it, just say, I don't want to do it. Don't come up with an excuse, because that's just you're wasting everybody's time, or the person's time at least that you're talking to. I look at it like that. And to me, a real leader and entrepreneur can admit when they have done wrong before, in the past and now. And after he was released from prison, Mr. Watson moved to Bowie, Maryland, which is located in Prince George's County, which is one of the most prestigious African American counties within the United States of America, where with a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, he opened up a restaurant in Brandywine, Maryland, called the Crab Boss Crab Shack, which generates millions of dollars in sales a month. And that is a big deal, going from prison inmate to successful businessman. Mr. Watson, like so many people, many other smart entrepreneurs, utilize social media selling his crab and his crab meats and cakes and other seafood products all at the same time. Especially with apps like Cash App, PayPal, it's so easy for business owners to collect money with social media. Chefs can definitely set up places to meet with their customers, or sometimes just deliver the food to the customers, drop off the food all at the same time. And also with a lot of social media, chefs start their own businesses from their own home. I've seen it myself throughout the United States, and a lot of it goes from there to food cart to sometimes brick and mortar, depending on the situation. And obviously he went from his truck to brick and mortar. Love it. Okay, love it in that order. And he saves, and because even when you do that, if you have a truck or if you're doing it out of your house, you're saving a lot of money not having to pay an expensive lease. Because if anybody knows anything about leasing a specific building, it can be very expensive at times. Owning it can be very expensive, leasing it can be very expensive. It's just downright expensive, as some people would say, and it's all good. It's not the end of the world. Mr. Watson refers to himself as the pull-up king, and that's him and his family on opening day of his restaurant. Because he would prepare food, post it on social media, and he would sell out of his seafood platters within a couple hours, and that says a lot right there. He went from he goes from new school to old school all at the same time, for two main reasons. Because not only did he utilize social media, which is a new school way, but he actually would pull up to multiple locations to sell his food from his truck as well. So many people would start, to come up to him in massive droves, Mr. Watson stated, just to get his food. And I can believe it, because when, it's very hard. If anybody's been to the DMV area, if you're not actually in the city of Washington, D.C., it's very hard to find good food outside of Washington, D.C. Like Northern Virginia, pickings are slim. Parts of Southern Maryland, pickings are slim, unless it's mom and pop. I'm a big mom and pop restaurant fan. Not really too big on chains, because chains are, a lot of times, depending on the chain, it can be very mediocre. But that's just my personal opinion when it comes to food. I'm not a big foodie, but I am picky when it comes to food. And I went to this gentleman's place the other day, and the food was on the money. It was very good. Estuvo delicioso. It was very good. Me gusta su comida. I like your food. On the money, Mr. Watson. I will say it just like that. Anyways, when it boils down to it, you know, not only is he a hard worker, but he would post several videos on his Instagram which displayed dozens of his customers lining up in parking lots and sidewalks wherever he may reside when it came to selling his food. Mr. Watson has more than 120,000 followers on his Instagram social media platform. And his account actually is just filled with his food, customers, and which, to my surprise, celebrities trying out his food. When it comes to Mr. Watson's food, even though he is in Maryland, the seafood capital of the world, which I did not realize. It's funny, I grew up next to Maryland my whole life and never really realized that. But hey, you learn something new every day, right? He grew up on using some different kinds of seasonings, Florida-style seasonings to be exact. He noticed when he moved to Maryland, he was looking for the same kind of food from his culture that he grew up on in Florida. But unlike Maryland's seafood, which is typically served dry with Chesapeake Bay or Old Bay seasoning, Watson said Florida-style seafood is typically served with a different seasoning blend and sauce. I didn't even realize that fact about the two different seafood styles. I thought that was pretty cool. One thing I really like about Mr. Watson is that he's not really big on the whole bragging and boasting about, you know, how cool he is and now that he's making a good chunk of money and blah blah blah. He's very humbled by where he's at in life and where his life is going, in a sense. So I think he should be commended, because we don't have enough humble people on this planet. We have too many arrogant, pompous, you know what's in this planet, and I really give credit where credit is due when it comes to the humble people out there. And I think, and he actually does own community service without even trying to get recognition for doing it. He just says, hey, he feels like he has to give back. So many people have helped him out in his situation, helping him to get where he's at. He feels like he has to give back. And that's another thing. Whether you had a hard life or whether you had a good life, always try to give back and help others and lift others up. This always ensure that it doesn't put you in a position to where it can hurt you, you know, mentally, physically, or financially. This is my personal opinion on that. Now, another great thing is he dedicates a good chunk of his free time, what little he has, because he has a family and has a business to run, but what little he has, he dedicates a lot of his free time by going to speak to a lot of prison inmates, you know, to offer some good advice, you know, and that's a great thing, because a lot of times I can see them listening to people who've actually been through that struggle before, instead of just listening to somebody just, you know, pointing their finger and saying, no, you must do X, Y, Z, you know. So I can understand it, I can respect it. So he gives great advice in hopes that he wants to encourage them and to ensure that they can make a change and not just live in their past, but invest into their future. And that's the problem. A lot of people want to live in the past. You know, they want things to be like the good old days and all this other stuff. And it's like I said, you revolve, you disappear. Got it from Tupac. I will use that saying till the day I die. It's just what it is. And sometimes even staying in the town that you've been in your whole life, sometimes you got to move on if you want to make a change. You know that, you know, we outgrow places. Like I outgrew Northern Virginia. He outgrew Florida. You know, and he moved to Maryland. And most times people are like, "What? You left Florida? You know, you left the sunny, the palm trees, the beaches to come to Brandywine, Maryland." But obviously, look at his success, and it's one of the best moves he could have made in his life. So I think that's awesome. Speaking of Mr. Watson's good food, look at that. That looks good, doesn't it? I know I enjoyed myself some when I had some the other day. So, and I'm a big seafood fan. I will say that much. So I was very skeptical at first, but hey, you made a fan out of me, and I definitely will. Next time I get a chance, I find myself in Maryland, I will definitely stop by to get some of your food, young man. It was on the money. So thank you, Mr. Watson. But I digress. He stated, and I quote from the article, no matter what you have been through, no matter what hills and valleys you have been through, there's always going to be a day when the sun shines and you have an opportunity to get back up to the top or towards climbing to the top of your dreams. Hope, inspiration, and motivation are the tools Watson is using to inspire his community and make a difference. I'm all for that. The Crab Boss Shack is actually located at 14125 Brandywine Road, Brandywine, Maryland. One more time, 14125 Brandywine Road, Brandywine, Maryland. So if you find yourself in the DMV area, you should check out Mr. Watson's place and get some good seafood. Mr. Watson is living proof that you can do anything you put your mind to, ladies and gentlemen. People like Mr. Watson is living proof that you can make a comeback in life if you are willing to put your mind to it and do the work. And obviously set yourself up with the right people all at the same time. So continue to work hard, people. Continue to follow your dreams. Don't let anything get in your way. Don't let anybody get in your way, especially if they're quote unquote friends, and if they are family. You know, you have to live the life on your terms, as long as it's not hurting anybody and breaking the law. You got to live the life the way you want it, because it's your life at the end of the day. And Mr. Watson's living proof that if you put your mind towards something, you can make some things happen. There will be a lot of hills. There's going to be a lot of bumps. But if there weren't, then that just means you're just coasting along. And it's easy to coast along, but it's hard to go after your dreams. So on that note, please like my page. Please share my videos. Please subscribe, as always. And check out the online store if you get a chance. And hey, man, have a great weekend. Enjoy life. Keep on striving for those dreams. Get out there and do some great things. Take care.